These are the stories topping the news. Another man has been shot and killed in Bastille. OECS education ministers are focusing on IT training for teachers, and a shooting in Parliament in Canada leaves 2 people dead. Good afternoon. Welcome to ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, 23rd October 2014. I'm Ebony Brandon. Now for a look at the news in detail. Police are investigating a shooting incident in Westbourne Gut that has left a young man dead. Reports indicate that the victim is Alston Mitchum, said to be in his 20s. According to reports, just after 8 a.m., Mitchum was sitting on a step in an alley that connects Westbourne Gut to Pricklepear Alley when a gunman shot and killed him. Police, defense force and medical officers were quickly on the scene, collecting evidence and interviewing neighbors. Commissioner of Police Selvin Walwyn told ZIZ News that this is an issue that needs everyone's attention.
We are now experiencing shootings in the daytime, and we have to put things in place now to combat this. However, as I have always said, crime is everybody's business. The citizens are going to have to get involved. We have 1-800-8477, which is Crime Stoppers, where they can call and remain anonymous and give us the tips, and we'll follow up on the tips. But to keep quiet and not say anything, you are just as wrong as the person who took an innocent life this morning.
Police say no one is in custody as yet, but investigations are underway. Minister of Homeland Security, the Honorable Patrice Nisbet, has recorded the government's full support of the National Drug Council. Speaking at Wednesday's Secondary School Drug Survey Dissemination Seminar, Minister Nisbet also pledged the government's continued support of the school drug prevalence team.
I also trust that a more pointed drug prevention program will ensue as a result of the findings from the survey, and discussions that will be held will guide guidance counselors and other drug prevention workers throughout the Federation.
Minister Nisbet thanked the Organization of American States and other key stakeholders for their role in conducting the survey and subsequent seminar. Several people called into ZIZ Radio's Talking Points yesterday morning to express their views on the ongoing Bastille High School issue, and the opinions were very surprising. It's clear that a number of people now believe that there is absolutely nothing wrong with the school. It also became apparent that people think the management of the school is at least partly responsible for the situation.
But the Bastille High School situation, my nephew attends the Bastille High School, and he tells me how he and not one of his friends have been sick. He says he don't understand why people are using a high school, using students and sickness to make the government look bad.
I agree with you what you're going on with. I don't believe nothing happened in school. It's politics.
It's politics.
It's politics. I agree with that.
I just called to say, very mean. Some of the teachers, some of them to lie and dishonest. Some only working for the money. They don't want to do anything else. When we were going to school, when school over, we have to sweep. The teachers, they're watching you. Sometimes they help with certain things. We have to sweep. When you come next morning, the school is clean.
To date, the Ministry of Education alone has spent over $7 million EC on renovations to the school and in implementing the recommendations made by both Kariri and CAFA in their reports. In regional developments, a regional education minister has pointed to the need for teachers to be adequately trained in the use of certain technologies before they are introduced into the classroom. St. Lucia's Education Minister Dr. Robert Lewis said while some students are ready to use a Samsung tablet or other Wi-Fi enabled devices, some educators are not trained on how to integrate the devices with their lesson plans. Dr. Lewis was speaking ahead of the first meeting of the Council of Ministers of Education, which opened in St. Lucia last evening. The use of ICT in the classroom is among key issues which will be tabled at the 2-day meeting. The regional meeting will provide the opportunity for policymakers to engage in constructive dialogue on substantive issues regarding education development in the OECS and agree on policies and strategies to advance the implementation of the OECS education sector strategy. The meeting is being held under the theme Transforming OECS Education, Embracing ICTS for the Success of Every Learner. A group of young and aspiring entrepreneurs received some much-needed help in realizing their business dreams yesterday at the Junior Achievement Youth Business Starter Program. The program seeks to bring more entrepreneurial and innovation-focused approach to traditional training and with a specific mentorship focus. Alex Busquet has the details.
The Youth Business Startup Program is an entrepreneurship program developed by Junior Achievement Worldwide through the USAID-funded Junior Achievement for the Eastern Caribbean and implemented by its affiliate Junior Achievement in St. Lucia. The Young Business Startup Program is designed to reduce youth unemployment by implementing activities that support the establishment of viable and sustainable youth micro-business using a demand-driven approach.
We are expecting that people, the youth, the children will be signing. They will be signing an agreement and going all the way, because this is a very comprehensive program. It's like 3-stage program. So there are different stages, and this workshop is the first stage. So this is very much about self-development and inspiring them, motivating them, and then in the second stage they will be getting skills training, proper skills training, whatever it is that they want to start. So they will get more practical training, and the third stage is where they get the finances as well. So the finances are arranged for them. So this is like, in that way, it's a very comprehensive program. So from this workshop, I'm aiming to get the result that all the youth will be so motivated, so inspired, that they will be looking to work, to start their own businesses.
Successful participants will receive assistance to establish a registered business, develop their product or services, have better access to finance, and receive training and mentoring to reduce risk and increase their chances of success. For the DBS News World, I am Alex Busquet.
In international developments, Canada's Prime Minister has condemned the brutal and violent shooting of a Canadian soldier in Ottawa and a hit-and-run that killed another earlier this week, saying the incidents are grim reminders that Canada is not immune to terrorism. Al Jazeera's Tom Ackerman has the details.
The usually placid Canadian capital was thrown into turmoil when gunshots rang out at the National War Memorial near Parliament Hill. The victim, a young reserve soldier on ceremonial guard duty, later died of his wounds. One of the suspected shooters, armed with a long gun, then ran into the Parliament building where legislators were meeting for their weekly caucus. Police chased the man down the corridor while the members of Parliament were ordered to stay inside.
Thought it was dynamite or construction rather than anything else. Suddenly the security guards come rushing down the hallways, usher us all out to the back of the Parliament buildings.
At least 30 shots were fired until the suspect was killed by the parliamentary sergeant-at-arms.
A guy came from the side on my left-hand side and came out with a rifle and shot at the man, and then the guy went falling down, and everybody was just in shock. Couldn't believe that something like this could just happen or be real. It was just beyond realism.
Meanwhile, a lockdown left thousands of people in downtown Ottawa confined for hours as police conducted their search for one or more other suspects.
The Ottawa Police Service is looking for witnesses to come forward with information regarding the incident that took place this morning.
Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who was in his nearby office, left the vicinity and was reported as never in danger. Canadian authorities have not described the attack as a terrorist incident, but at the White House, President Obama's spokesman said the American and Canadian leaders discussed their concern.
The circumstances around today's tragic events in Canada are still unknown, but that is a concern that the United States has been focused on for quite some time. We've been talking to other countries about steps that we can take in coordination to mitigate that threat, and Canada is one of the countries that has been robustly engaged in those efforts.
The incident comes 2 days after a Canadian soldier was run over and killed by a man described as a radical jihadist. And last week, Canada raised its domestic threat level for the first time in 4 years. Meanwhile, members of Canada's military have been instructed to stay out of uniform and keep their profiles low when they're off duty. Tom Ackerman, Al Jazeera.
Fears of Ebola are keeping doctors and patients alike away from hospitals in the West African nation of Guinea. Sandy Kossel has the details.
A new side effect of the Ebola crisis is appearing in the West African nation of Guinea. Empty hospitals. Doctors are so worried that the virus will kill them, they've stopped going to work. Patients are staying away from hospitals because they're worried about getting infected too.
People are talking about Ebola all over here. They say, if you come here at the hospital, you will get this and that. The public is now afraid of coming to the hospital. They say, if you come here, they will put Ebola on you. And the public is now afraid of the hospital, and nobody is coming.
Guinea's president is calling on retired doctors in the country to come out of retirement and help fight Ebola. The disease has killed more than 4,800 people in 3 affected countries. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
In today's weather, we'll see partly sunny skies along with scattered showers later in the afternoon. Winds will blow from the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures are expected to reach a high of 30 degrees with an evening low of 25 degrees. Sunset this evening will be at approximately 5:45 p.m. That's it for the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening at 6:30 p.m. on 96.1 FM ZIZ Radio and right here on Channel 5 at 7 p.m. for these stories and more in detail. I'm Ebony Brandon.